The streak is over, but the Twins can start a new one with the Mariners coming to town. We'll have a full breakdown of the streak, the weekend against the Red Sox, and we'll get you ready for the Mariners as well. It's the return of Jorge Polanco and also Mitch Garver. But that's what we got for you. This is Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, hi, how are you? It's Locked On Twins the morning after, and I'm Brandon Warren. You can follow me, or rather unfollow me on the tweets at Brandon_WARNE. And while you're doing that, make sure to head on over to @Answer Dave Brown. Follow our friend Dave Brown. What's up?
I thought the Twins would never lose again. What happened?
You were sold a bill of goods that was not as it seemed. But Twins fall 9-2 on Sunday. We'll get into that here a bit. We'll get into the streak that has the Twins 19-14, 2.5 games back of the Cleve in the division. We got a bit of a trip around the affiliates. We got a trip around the division. And again, Mariners coming to town. We're going to see Jorge Polanco back in Minnesota for the first time. And Mitch Garver has also been on that team this year. So that's kind of fun. Thanks for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. And of course, as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Game off, because we got to talk more about Monopoly Go. This fast-paced game lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. So download Monopoly Go free on Google Play or the App Store. So I have a full breakdown of the stats for the Twins' 12-game winning streak, outscoring opponents by, I believe it was a margin of 84-39. Yeah. But Sunday's game, a bit of a letdown. I thought Joe Ryan was more good than bad. He did have, I think, a pitch or two that got into his mentality. But in general, though, he was pretty good. It wasn't the Twins' day.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, I sure can.
Okay. Wasn't sure my microphone is blinking a certain way, and I don't like it. And it's bothering me.
I think we're good.
Okay. Well, then I'll talk some more. Joe Ryan seemed upset with himself upset with himself that he seemed to get distracted a couple times. I don't know how much that actually ended up hurting him. It seemed like when he gave up the early 2-run homer, I believe it was a 2-run homer, he was really kind of out of sorts. So, pitching is always kind of a work in progress anyway. Progress is not necessarily linear. So, and I mean, I was joking before that you can't really win them all, and you're not going to win them all. And they haven't won them all. So it's going to be an interesting week with the Mariners coming to town. This is a team that, at least in the starting rotation, pitches better than just about anybody else in the league. So that's going to be a challenge for the Twins. And we'll see what the reactions are for Mitch and for Jorge. They're both Jorge is probably a little under performing right now, and Mitch is really underperforming. So we'll see if that holds for the series.
I'll knock on wood. It's a 4-gamer. Simeon Woods Richardson against Luis Castillo in the opener. We'll have more on that in our final segment. But you can catch every pitch of the Twins hometown broadcast with Chris and Danny on Sirius XM. Just download the SXM app, search the word Twins. And again, like I said, up next for the Twins, it'll be SWR taking on Luis Castillo. And I also believe Castillo is off to a bit of a tough start. So hopefully the Twins are not the cure to what ails him. But as far as Sunday's game, I did want to kind of bring up a couple things. Twins had opportunities. They did leave the bases loaded early, 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position. And I'm honestly not sure if Cooper Criswell is actually any good. Because
he's been pretty good. I mean, his
numbers are good, but
yeah.
But he's a junk baller, and the Twins didn't really make him pay, and they have been not so good against non-fastballs this year.
Yeah, it was I don't know. They couldn't really get anything going. Um, I don't think that as bad as the Twins offense was earlier when they were not doing so well overall, and as great as and deep and unbelievable as the lineup is, I think it's still probably going to be maybe a little more towards the middle than that. I don't think,
Yeah.
and they don't have Royce Lewis. I think Royce Lewis is the kind of the X factor in the offense anyway. So the Twins are going to have moments like this when, you go up against a junk baller, and if you're not patient and you get frustrated and, you get behind a little bit, you're not going to have all the success that you had earlier. So the Mariners pitchers it's not that they don't rely on off-speed stuff and breaking stuff, but I think the upcoming opponents are a little more straightforward. There's a lot to prepare for. He's doing okay. I mean, his ERA might not be dominating, but his second, Luis Castillo.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, I pulled up his numbers. I was mistaken. I was focusing too much on his first 3 starts where he had a 6.89 ERA. Since then,
I wasn't trying to call you out. I was just saying.
No, since then he's dropped it to 3.46. Player linker thing is not working on Baseball Reference. Oh, there his last 4 starts. Basically spanning a month less, couple days. 26 innings, 31 strikeouts, 4 earned runs, 1.38 ERA. So decidedly not struggling of late. So that's a misstep by me.
Well, you meant to say, I'm sure that the opponents are struggling against Castillo because he's gotten his act together. No, but
513.
He's one of the. I mean, when he's on, he's one of the better pitchers. So, don't be surprised if the Twins have. And I'm not saying you don't be surprised, but people out there,
you understood.
Yes, the Royal you, and not the Royals you, because that's in Kansas City. Don't be surprised if the Twins, kind of have to scratch to score some runs. They're going to need in this series. They're going to need their relief pitching to continue to be as good, and another good turn from the Sheriff, the Marshal, the Paddock. So it's. I think we're going to have lots of low-scoring games in this series, and then watch. It's going to all be 10-8 and crazy, but I think we'll see a lot of 3-2 games.
And more toward that series here in a minute. I want to talk about briefly the 12-game winning streak. As I stated, Twins outscore opponents 84-39. The Twins hit 308, 377, 514 as a slash. It's an 891 OPS, which if you're uninitiated, that is a very, very, very good OPS. And then pitching wise, 3.08 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. They had 9.67 strikeouts per 9, 2.25 walks per 9. I don't think, the WHIP, 1.08. And on defense, only one player had multiple errors. Do you have any guess who it was?
Carlos Correa.
Nope. You got the right first name, though.
Carlos Santana.
Yep. And I have a breakdown of a defensive play he made on
Carlos
Saturday.
Kepler. Oh,
Carlos.
I got it right. I'm sorry.
Not at the table, Carlos. Did you see Christian Vasquez's tongue out, by the way, speaking of not named Carlos?
I'm glad you added some context to that. Yeah, I did. I saw.
Actually, I tweeted it and you commented on it. Now that I think about it.
Well, then, yeah, obviously I did. No, I saw it, and it was an unfortunate moment. It was during God Bless America, I want to say.
Just as it was hitting the start of it, because you can see on the screen, as you noted, the caption saying just the word God. He's like, and then
Christian Vasquez stuck his tongue out at God.
Yep, and I texted it or tweeted it to his wife, and she laughed and then said, "Meanwhile, my son won't let me. I think he wouldn't let her take a picture during the Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem.
Show some respect. Put your camera away during the national anthem," said the 7-year-old or however old he is.
Right.
I thought that was a great sequence. That's a good use of social media there, where you spot something silly. It's, I mean, like
harmless.
Yes, but something that people might, like my wife, for example, who saw that, she was shaking her head, disapprovingly. that might get some people upset. I think it's okay.
Mhm.
You know, we play the national anthem before every game, and sometimes your tongue is going to leave your mouth. It's just
True.
one of those things. But it was really funny that you were on that, and Mrs. Vasquez was ready to rejoin the conversation with a funny related moment about how their family is during those patriotic songs. So I thought that was that Sunday?
Yeah,
Was that
it's Sunday.
that was the best moment of the game, right
It
there.
has to be Sunday. That's when they do "God Bless America" at Target
Oh
Field. So,
yeah, right.
yeah, and so on that streak, before we get to our first pause here, Chris Paddock, 3 wins, 2.00 OERA, and a WHIP of 1, 18 strikeouts in 18 innings, all that good stuff. Yeah, he seems to be trending in the right direction. He is, as I see things now, slated to start on Wednesday against George Kirby. It's going to be Castillo, SWR, Emerson Hancock, Bailey Ober. Is Emerson Hancock tall? I can't remember. I feel like he is, but
I don't know. I know he's not. He's a good, solid pitching prospect. Perhaps somebody the Twins should have thought about in a trade earlier this year.
6'4". 6'4". So he's pretty tall. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a
it's
tall.
pretty tall. I mean, that's Pablo Lopez height. So
And then
yeah.
Kirby Paddock, not to be confused with Kirby Puckett, and then Logan Gilbert, Pablo Lopez in the finale Thursday, which I'm sure is a nooner because they love their Thursday afternoon games. So Twins miss your guy Brian Wu, which is okay. Hey, let's take a quick pause though and give some love to some of the sponsors who make this show possible. When we come back, I want to do a breakdown of a 3-6-3 double play that Carlos Santana turned on Saturday that I think people might sleep on as far as how pivotal plays like that have been so far this season. We'll be right back. If you're struggling to close B2B, or if you're struggling to close deals, B2B selling is tougher than ever. And that's why we want to tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It's a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high value customers, driving higher revenue and increasing your performance in sales. It helps you navigate and target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes or which accounts you should prioritize. And it'll show you hidden allies so you can find those buyers who are most likely to convert. And again, LinkedIn's got 1 billion members. So Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people who matter. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. Again, linkedin.com/lockedon. You get a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon and you can get started. And our friends at Monopoly Go want you to be aware of a huge announcement. We've been tracking the leaderboards every day, keeping our eyes on the scores, putting our heart into it, and we are pumped to announce that we have reached the top of the leaderboards. That's right. Obviously, we're talking about the hit mobile game Monopoly Go. You've probably heard of it because it's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on the classic Monopoly, but mobile. You can play it anywhere, anytime, and you can explore hundreds of Monopoly boards from Las Vegas to Camelot to the moon, all while raking in a huge digital fortune. Charge rent on your iconic properties, just like the Monopoly you know and love, and spend hours playing at the kitchen table with your friends and family. You can charge your friends rent on those, or you can go after Monopoly money and take it from your friends. You can pull bank heists and put their landmarks to shame with wrecking balls, which to me, again, I say this every single time. Sounds like a whole heap of fun. But my favorite part is the leaderboards, where you can see who's a Monopoly tycoon and who has gone bankrupt. So get yourself on the charts, download Monopoly Go free on the App Store and Google Play. All right, Dave, Carlos Santana in the third inning of Saturday's game, so win number 12, turned a really exceptional double play. It was 3-6-3. You see those sometimes. Sometimes they're 3-6-1 if the first baseman can't get back to the bag. But the contrast here is that I think, especially with the White Sox, just because they're the White Sox, and even the Angels dropping the ball.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, you know what it means. and the Angels kicking the ball around like the first half of the Disney movie. The opponents have left a lot of opportunities on the field, whether it's giving the Twins runs or not scoring them themselves. And Connor Wong had a pass ball that allowed the Twins to score their first run, even the score. Twins go on to a 3-1 win. But I feel like, the games we've been watching of late, the Twins have done a better job of taking care of those small things than their opponents have.
For sure. There was a big moment early in the series against the Red Sox when not Connor Wong, but Reese McGuire kind of foolishly threw a ball in the center field. And
you can't get anybody out there.
No, you can't, unless the base runner just really gets lost. Yeah, and that is one of the things. Somebody, I think it was Nick Nelson, was asking, well, what was your favorite part of the streak? I think that was the question. And, I thought the best parts were, like you mentioned, Paddock earlier, getting his act together, really important.
Yep.
The lineup showing, kind of flexing what it can do from, and I mean like the average players, Willie and Santana. And
by the way, Willie leads the team in plate appearances. That's shocking to me.
Well, he leads off a lot, right? So I guess and you can tell Rocco loves him and relies on him. And you can tell going back to the opening series in Kansas City and asking people, why did you do this move with Willie and put him here? And well, we wouldn't want to put him at DH because that would possibly, that would limit his flexibility on defense, and we don't want him out of the game. And so the Twins love them some Willie. Last year went a lot toward that.
Are we still doing phrasing?
That was unnecessary. You didn't need to do that.
By the way, he's hit 7th, 3rd, 8th, 8th, 7th in the last 6 games.
I thought he was a leadoff hitter.
That's been
Didn't he used to do that?
Mm-mm.
He did this year.
Maybe once. I don't know.
Look it up first. Or maybe I should look it up. Well, Willie's going to be okay. My second point about how he's never leaving the game once he's in it. Yep. That will lend itself to leading a team. And
guys getting hurt. He's filling in for whether it's Royce Lewis at third, Matt Wallner,
Buxton, Correa.
And Wallner has heated up at St. Paul. We'll get to that later. The way he's filling in for guys, that's going to lend itself to plate appearances no matter where you bat. And like you said, that's a really great point that I hadn't considered. He's staying in the game. When Kyle Farmer comes in, Willie's not coming out. There's
no room for Wallner right now. Larnach's too good.
Yeah, right.
Maybe I should have saved that for later.
Hey,
but the Twins are also, generally speaking, have taken care of it on defense. I think that's the other. The bullpen has been really solid, even though some pieces have been missing. The starting rotation has stabilized at the back end. The offense has trended up, but the defense has been pretty solid all along. I think that is one. Not giving things away like that is one of those indicators that. You're going to have your 12-game winning streaks or streak. You're going to have your highs and your lows. Mm-hmm. But if you can keep your defense stable, that is a good indicator to me that the team is going to be in most of the games that they play.
Yeah, I mean, we don't love errors as a general measure, but 4 in a 12-game span is good no matter how you slice it. So you had mentioned the Twins taking care of things defensively, and you also mentioned base runners getting lost, which actually kind of happens on this play that I'm going to illustrate as well. But there's been a lot of chatter. Are the Twins close to DFAing Manuel Margot? Are they close to DFAing Carlos Santana? Well, when you watch Santana defensively, and first base defense is certainly not as maybe important as it is elsewhere, he's really smooth over there. I mean, it's
no pun intended.
It's not even a pun. No, it's he's really, really good over there. He had this play though in the 3rd inning of Saturday's game. So it's an absolute rocket shot off the bat of Rafael Devers, which is what Rafael Devers does. And with Jarren Duran, I don't know how you say that because it's Duran, difference between him and Juwan, which we didn't get to see.
Are we going to play a song now?
Yeah, well, I guess it was an anniversary of one of their songs.
It usually is. I mean, they had many, many songs. All right, get to the play.
So Santana fields it cleanly, but where he's at in the baseline makes it a difficult throw. Now, he's close enough to the bag where he could have done the step and throw, get the tag. Duran is fast enough though, where he probably beats that out. Although he did for some reason turn and look backward, which again, we'll get to that. So Santana first making the play and then determining whether to go to second or first, makes the right call going to second base because the fast runner could still be out. Though, when you're a right-handed thrower, you have to pivot and turn and find a lane. So when you're a left-handed thrower, you have a little more natural of a lane, because I'm a left-handed thrower who played first base. And as a righty, as a righty, though, he had to thread the needle to Carlos Correa with a good enough, strong enough throw, but he still kind of arced it to get the first out, because you got to get the first out before you can get the second. It's an old adage. Now, with Santana doing that pivot, he delivers a strike, and for some reason, Jarren Duran, looking backwards, tries to jump into the throw. And if you look at where he lands, it's on the infield grass in front of second base. It's a part of the play that I don't think a lot of people saw or really remember, but it was just really strange. But anyway, then Santana gets back to the bag quickly for a 3-6-3. I just thought that kind of play. Now, granted, Alex Kirilloff, throwing would have had an easier play probably, and Santana as a catcher probably has a little more experience with angles and that sort of thing. I just thought that's the kind of play that teams have not made against the Twins, and it's come back to bite them, because when an offense has almost a 900 OPS over a 2-week span, you're going to be hitting in all situations, runners in scoring position, all that stuff, 2 outs. So I just thought Santana making that play with the number 2 hitter in the lineup, the leadoff guy, the fast guy on base, he checked so many boxes for me on that, for one of the more difficult defensive plays a first baseman can make.
Well, I mean, I understand why people were, let's say, impatient, and I'm putting a nice word on it, because he wasn't hitting particularly well for a while.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing that they kept him around. I mean, that's the thing that I was worried about before is, well, if Santana doesn't work out and that leaves him with Kirilloff at first base, I don't think Kirilloff, I mean, even though he's a left-handed thrower, is he not? But I don't know that he makes that play either way. I don't know if he makes a stop. I don't know if he makes a good throw. I've seen him make a couple throws Willie actually rescued him once in the throw that would have, I think, been an error otherwise. And I was looking at it again. You were piquing my curiosity. I was trying to figure out exactly what Duran was doing on that play. But
it's weird, isn't it?
I think I wonder if maybe
a rundown. He wanted to get into a rundown or something.
Maybe he wanted to get into a rundown. Maybe could he have thought that, what if he catches it on the fly? Should I run back? Did I get confused in that way? I don't know if that
would be a terrible read, because you're pretty much automatically out because of your secondary lead. So it didn't seem like it seemed like a rookie or a very young player in that play being thwarted by a guy who literally signed 20 years ago with the Dodgers.
This would be, I wonder if Carlos Correa decoyed him a little bit.
He might have, yeah. I'll have to go back and watch that.
Yeah. And, hopefully, I mean, Correa won't ever forget anything. So I don't know if anybody asked him about it or not, but that would be an interesting thing to go back on, because it was a really good play. I liked Santana's throw.
Yep.
He had to contort himself a little bit, like you said, and make sure that his angle was good. And it gave Carlos Correa the opportunity to do one of my favorite Carlos Correa things, which is just throw the piss out of the ball back to first base. He gets all he can into it and makes those throws. He looks very superhero-ish when he does that on the return play. And that was just a great exclamation point on it. And it was kind of a fun play all the way around. You mentioned how it maybe was kind of getting lost. It doesn't have its own highlight in the package of games. It does, but it would be like
film room, and they didn't have it.
It might be like they have at some point. I think they have every moment in the film room. I don't know if it's done yet, but they'll have every pitch, I think. but it'll be like unlabeled, or it'll be labeled in a way that you won't be able to find it easily. But yeah, that highlight was not in the main package of highlights unless you look in the condensed game or the highlight, the 10-minute highlight, or the 8-minute highlight package, because I couldn't find it. You were telling me I didn't see the game live. I was at kids soccer, and I wanted to go back and look at it. You're like, well, we got to look at this play, and I couldn't find it. I did a Santana search. I did my work, and it didn't come up. So that play should have its own label for sure.
Yeah,
it's kind of too late now. So, but it was a fun play and a good example of how the Twins are limiting runs on defense.
Well, we are a little behind on our break here. Let's take a quick pause, give some love to Yahoo Finance. When we come back, we'll go around the affiliates, around the division, and then maybe a quick primer on the Mariners. But first, a word. Yahoo Finance is one of our sponsors. We've been using it here for a little while, and let's get straight to the point. You want to grow your portfolio to deal with the rising cost of inflation or pay off your debt, whether it's student loan, mortgage, whatever, pretty much anything standing in the way of you and financial freedom. We all have that goal. With Yahoo Finance, we are able to get access to the news, data, and tools that you need in order to reach that financial freedom. It's all you need under one roof. It's been 25 years that Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're seasoned or just looking for extra guidance, maybe as a newcomer, that sort of thing, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need, again, in one place. They're the #1 finance destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle, including breaking news, editorials, analyst rankings, independent research, customizable charts, and much, much more. You can securely link all of your brokerage accounts, again, to get it all under one roof, including your 401ks, your other investments, a comprehensive perspective, and it gives you one of those, which is what sets apart great investors, and it's how Yahoo Finance ensures you have the insight to look at your wealth in its entirety. So, for comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor. That's Yahoo Finance, the #1 financial destination, yahoofinance.com. Once again, that's yahoofinance.com. All righty, we are on our way down the home stretch here. A couple minutes left to go. And around the affiliates, very quickly, St. Paul, 13-18. They split a 6-gamer with Louisville over the weekend. They took 2 of 3. They're at Toledo next. Yes, I got to make sure. David Festa. Make sure I have the right Festa.
That's me. Oh, no, I'm David. I'm different, David.
You're Scott Paddock. The 3 1/3 innings for Festa, 5 earned, including 2 homers, 1 Hernan Perez, which is a former Twins farmhand for a brief second last year. And Casey Legumina got the win for Louisville. He was part of the trade. He was the trade for Kyle Farmer. So a little bit of dirt in the wound there. Matt Wallner, 2 for 5, up to 230 with a 743 OPS. Not great, but based on where we saw him before, much better. Wichita postponed Sunday. They'll go to Arkansas for 6. So they dropped 3 of 5 to Northwest Arkansas. Didn't get that 6th one in. Fort Myers dropped 5 of 6 to Bradenton. Bradenton came in with like 4 wins on the season. So a pretty ugly one, dropping Fort Myers to 9-18. They'll take on Dunedin at home next for 6. Cedar Rapids, the only affiliate above 500. It's 15-11. They took 5 of 6 from Peoria, including the last 5. They are at South Bend next. And around the division, Guardians beat the Angels 4-1 on Sunday to 2 of 3. But Stephen Kwan goes on the IL with a hamstring, so we'll keep an eye on that. Royals dropped 2 of 3 to the Rangers, the defending champions. They're 20-15, and so right in the thick of things with the Twins. Tigers 18-16 were swept in New York. By the way, Dave, you know who lost that game for the Tigers? I bet you do.
It wasn't me, was it?
Who seems to be losing every single game for the Tigers right now out of their bullpen?
Well, it's not. Is it Shelby Miller?
It's Shelby Miller. Didn't you just drop him in our fantasy league?
I did. What did I know, and when did I know it?
Does he know? He knows. Yeah. No, so they're 18-16. Tariq Skubal has been nasty. I hope the Twins face him as little as possible. And that panic you hear is in St. Louis because they dropped 2 of 3 to the White Sox. Garrett Crochet.
Oh,
yeah, right. Garrett Crochet getting the W on Sunday. That's a trip around the division, a trip around the affiliates. Anything stand out to you there, Dave?
Well, I think we've talked over our chance to talk about the Mariners more. The one thing about the Guardians move with Stephen Kwan is they're bringing up Kyle Manzardo from the minors, and he is a really good prospect. He's had a little bit of uneven progress at the upper levels, but right now
it's like when your first base prospect has like a 780 OPS for a bit, you're like, whoa, what's that about?
Right. Well, he's got 8 home runs, so he's getting the power back a little bit. He's a first base. He's a first baseman though. He's not a left fielder, and he's certainly not. White Sox,
he would be. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I apologize. Go on.
Do the White Sox need that kind of shade, really? I mean, they just took 2 and 3 from the Cardinals. Leave him alone. But Manzardo's not. I mean, he's not going to play left field, so he's going to have to DH. I know that gets Estevan Florial out of the lineup.
It's a Florial arrangement.
I don't know. Josh Naylor loves to play the outfield. Do the Guardians let him play the outfield? Even not right field?
Not after how Target Field went for him the last time he played the outfield there. That's where he broke his leg.
Was it? I thought that was Kaminsky Park.
No, it was here. It was here.
Oh, yeah. Ernie Clement. I remember Ernie Clement was very sad about that.
Yeah, I would be too.
So that's the Guardians need thunder in the lineup. I mean, like power, and Manzardo might be ready to commit to that, but he's not going to play left field. So we'll see how Stephen Vogt gets him in the lineup and how that affects them going forward without Kwan.
As we said again, Simeon Woods Richardson against Luis Castillo. It'll be Hancock Ober, Kirby Paddock, and Gilbert Lopez. Gilbert Lopez sounds like a George Lopez offshoot, or like his less talented brother. Anyway, that's it. That's a wrap for this edition of Locked On Twins. We'll catch you on the flip side here after a couple games of the Mariners series, or maybe just one. But this has been Locked On Twins, and we'll see you